Well, it looks like Harry and Meghan are suffering the South Park treatment once again. And this time we have Seth MacFarlane's Family Guy to thank. In an episode from the newest series of the cartoon satire, which came out on Sunday, the main character, Peter Griffin, compares himself to Meghan and Harry, who of course stepped down as working members of the British royal family back in 2020 so that they could find fame and fortune in the US. In the newest clip, Meghan and Harry are portrayed enjoying some fizzy drinks by the pool, while a very British looking butler hands them a paycheck. And he tells Harry, "Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what." And then, in the cartoon, Harry replies, "Oh, put it with the rest of them," in a British accent that reminds us of Dick Van Dyke's Cockney character in Mary Poppins. And as the butler runs off, Megan's phone buzzes with a notification. She informs Harry, "Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco." And then a depressed looking Harry, staring off into the distance, replies, "I shouldn't have left the made up nonsense," in an apparent dig at the British monarchy. Now, this satirization of the gruesome twosome in Family Guy is coming after another pasting Meghan and Harry got on South Park earlier this year, which made fun of their calls for privacy. The savage takedown of Meghan and Harry as lazy comes after Spotify executive Bill Simmons, head of podcast innovation and monetization, condemned the two of them as grifters. But this particular clip is referring to the £80 million deal they signed with Netflix back in 2020. I mean, what a colossal waste of money when Netflix could have created some shows that people really want to see. At least the gruesome twosome are good for a laugh as they're just drifting around aimlessly, acting like they're better than what they really are. I am so glad to see this episode of Family Guy. I mean, that's precisely what Meghan and Harry were like when they were working in the royal family anyway. And I 100% believe that a few arguments revolved around their lack of work and their expensive lifestyle. It seems like Meghan believed she was going to be the queen of Hollywood, and so she convinced Harry to leave the monarchy only to discover they're a couple of fools. They're basically just cartoons. In the UK, I'm guessing the palace aides would have found a way to make sure this episode of Family Guy never came out, but in the States, royal privilege doesn't mean a thing. And they have made themselves into a couple of jokes. They truly are a laughingstock now. Anybody can have a go at them, and they can't do a thing about it. I'm sure Harry, Mr. Anti Freedom of Speech, is absolutely infuriated, but guess what? He can't do anything. The two of them are a couple of idiots, and their only asset is their royal titles, but they act like they are so much better than all of us. So I'm glad another cartoon series went after them. They deserve it. What they want is respect, and they want influence from Hollywood. But unfortunately for them, Hollywood already knows they're a complete joke. And the more they try to be important, the more hilarious they become. It's really better than daily cartoons for humor. I mean, the two of them are such failures, and their lack of awareness is honestly hilarious. Harry also believes that he is this hero for mental health, and laughter is a really good treatment for alleviating stress. I mean, Harry has been making us laugh a lot, so I guess in some ways he is doing wonders for our mental health. While Harry and Meghan preach to us about climate change, it is pretty funny to watch them fly around the world in private jets and drive everywhere in those gas guzzling SUVs. I mean, we can't cry about it, so we might as well laugh. Seriously, though, what are they trying to accomplish in the US? They're not celebrities, but they parade around like they are. They're not royal in the UK, but they try to convince everybody they are royals. They haven't been elected to do anything for anyone, but they act like we're just waiting to hear what they have to say about every single issue. And they waltz around like people are so excited to see them, but the truth is, nobody cares. They just make themselves look more and more ludicrous. They claim they're going to save the world from that Olive Garden looking McMansion they live in. They're going to help the poor people. Yeah, right. And they preach to us about climate change while they use private jets. They want fame more than anything, but they claim they just want privacy. I mean, they walk around like they are God's gift to humanity. But neither one of them even has a job, so what could they possibly advise any of us on? All they really do is encourage divisiveness and hatred. What a world they live in. And the funny thing is, if Megan had just married for love instead of fame and fortune, then she would probably be a lot happier right now. Although I guess she would be feeling entitled to be lauded by everybody, which is what we're seeing now. Harry was tricked into believing that Meghan loved him, but it's clear this is nothing more than a stepping stone for her. And Harry can argue that he has had some life experience, but not very impressive in the grand scheme of things, because so much of his life he has been completely catered to. And Meghan, well, she broke into Hollywood as a very minor actress. There are some experiences to discuss there, but other than that, what do they have to bring to the table? I still don't know why any content creators would want to associate with the two of them. I mean, the creators and producers come to them to hear their words of wisdom as if they know what they're talking about. But they live in a fantasy world. Neither of them has accomplished anything real. And then, earlier in the week, Harry turned himself into a hypocrite yet again. Their transport of choice upon leaving the wedding was supposed to signal to the world that they were a couple of eco warriors, and they were getting ready to use their growing influence to help environmental causes. Well, of course, all that went out the window once people weren't looking or once they thought people weren't looking. But guess what, you two? We never stopped paying attention. We know you're a couple of hypocrites. I mean, why would anybody be surprised at all this? Not satisfied with destroying the ozone layer as often as he can with a private jet travel all over the place. Now Harry's trying to market himself to the gas people at Formula One, which generates one of the biggest carbon footprints per dollar invested of any human activity. It's important to remember that it is not only the massive CO2 emissions produced over each day of an event, it's all the waste made by the crowds that go. And of course, all the associated waste the racing cars produce in the workshops. But there was Harry doing his best to promote this sport to a worldwide audience for who knows how much money. But I guess he'll do anything he has to keep that mistress of his happy. I mean, of course, Meghan's eco credentials seem to have stopped her from attending this little gig with Harry, but I'm sure eventually both of them are going to be on a private jet once again. Looks like Harry has figured out, though, that the best job for him would be rent-a-royal. For the right amount of money, he'll trash his family, he'll praise them if you want him to, he'll promote whatever product he wants, he'll pose in whatever brand pays him and Meghan in clothing, and money, of course. It is such a good thing that his mother is not around to see him degrade himself like this. He's also not very intelligent. I mean, you can tell whenever he says something, and he knows that. He makes really weird facial expressions, and he's always so fidgety. So why would anybody want to pay Harry to attend anything? I mean, seriously, I guess I should rent myself out if that's where the money is. And it's a good thing that Harry's grandparents are not around to see all this, although I think they saw enough before they passed. They did have to witness his jealousy, his lies, and his spite before they passed away. So I do hope that is on his conscience for the rest of his life. And you know what? Harry's father and brother and the sister he never had, well, they are still victims of all the hatred he throws their way. The more Meghan and Harry reveal, the further south their reputations go. They are such a complete joke at this point, and they're too dumb to even understand what a farce they have become. So you know what? Good luck, WME, Meghan's latest talent agency. The problem with Meghan is that she has no talent, and Harry's in the same boat. See, Harry's only claim to fame is his family, and now his family wants nothing to do with them. So I don't think there's a lot for them in the future. I mean, what could they possibly do? When are the companies going to realize nobody wants to hear a buzzword filled word salad speech? And you, what do you think about them? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video is useful, don't be afraid to like and share it with anyone else who would enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe to Kate Middleton and the Queen channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for watching, goodbye, and I'll be back to see you in the next videos.